he is 100% worth it.
He takes it to another level. Oh my God, I just fell in love with it.
Thanks so much, Jay.
Blew my mind. And it worked. I wanted to buy my thing.
Jay is, I would say, the Yoda of sales calls, man.
Just talking to Jay, he was so good at just taking what it is, seeing the opportunity and the value and the real reason we are making it.
Talk to Jay, because he got it. He can definitely help you out.
Talk to Jay. You're going to get a lot. You're going to gain a lot.
I would absolutely recommend him for any position that you have.
Jay's definitely the guy.
Give him the chance, give him the opportunity. You won't regret it.
He's good at what he does, so I highly recommend him, and I would book him before he is fully booked out.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Sales Ninja Show podcast, where we cut through the noise, ditch the outdated sales tactics, and show you how to close deals with confidence, strategy, and integrity. I'm Jay Lee, founder of Sales Ninja, and if you're tired of chasing leads, handling endless objections, and feeling like you have to convince people to buy, you're in the right place. Here we do sales differently. We believe in positioning over pressure, where the right people lean in without the need for pushy tactics, and that's the heart of the reverse glass selling method. A kingdom-driven approach built on trust, service, and true connection. Because when you lead with value, sales becomes effortless. And when you sell more, you can give more. This episode of the Sales Ninja Show podcast is proudly sponsored by NSP Payment Solutions. So if you're using Stripe, PayPal, WAP, or any other credit card processor, NSP can help you reduce your processing fees and potentially save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every month. One client is already on track to save thousands monthly. There is no cost for a savings analysis, and their customer support is world-class. So book a free call today and see how much money you could keep in your business. Today's guest is someone who helps coaches and course creators stop chasing every new trend and start building predictable monthly income through simple systems that actually scale. She built a 7-figure business after starting with zero experience, turned a Chrome extension into a thriving SaaS company, and now helps entrepreneurs grow from 5K months without sacrificing their freedom in the process. She is a 2 Club Award winner, founder of GroupConvert, and a strong voice for building a business that supports the life you. Please welcome Kim Dang. How's it going, Kim?
Hi, Jay. Glad to be
Good
here.
to have you. We just had such a long conversation before the actual live recording for like literally an hour. And I know that we had talked maybe 2 years ago when you were looking to scale one of your many companies. How have you been? And what are you up to these days?
Doing great. People surprisingly still want to monetize communities
Mhm.
6 years later.
Yeah.
Our Chrome extensions have thousands and thousands of subscribers, and now with AI, um, so many things can be done. I used to turn away people who don't have high ticket products um, in terms of monetizing their communities. But now with automations and AI, you can automate a group and monetize a group with these simple tools. So it's a combination of Claude, Perplexity, Manus, and even the use of OpenClaw to monetize their communities in a way where it is predictable and just increasing their MRR, monthly recurring revenue.
Wow, that's a lot of AI tools that you just listed off in one sentence. Claude, Perplexity, Manus, OpenClaw. And I think for people who are listening here who may not be familiar with some of the tools that you've mentioned, and safety issues, some people with AI think it's going to, kill or destroy the world, right? And other people who are more AI savvy are like security issues with OpenClaw. Can you comment on any of those?
Yeah, OpenClaw is constantly just updating all the time. So, I would say there are some security issues a long time ago, which is just several months ago, which is a
Yeah.
long time
Mhm.
in this AI space.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
Uh, but there are so many updates and so many just constant updates that are almost like every other week now. I like to, if you are afraid of the Wild West with like OpenClaw, I would say go with Perplexity, go with Manus, go with Claude.
Mm.
So, um, don't stress yourself out if you are not tech savvy. And for the people who are tech savvy, they're not that afraid because they are they have their OpenClaw on a separate, Mac Mini or different computer that is running with their own G Suite, their own logins that they create for that environment. So, just to comment on like people concerned about security, but for the most part, what I've discovered is people are just encountering ChatGPT and creating their own GPT is a huge deal. So
Yeah.
for the most part, people are not diving deep into what AI can do because they need to have thousands of dollars to spend just to experiment and test per month.
Yeah.
And uh, most people are not doing that.
So I think I was watching Joel Yee, another sales, savage coach, deep into OpenClaw, and I think one of my other guests, Ty Shane Howell, like they do OpenClaw a lot. For people who don't understand what OpenClaw is, and they might have heard of ChatGPT, what can OpenClaw do? And I don't know if you have any use cases, or just explain how does that work? Is it automations? Is agentic AI? What is OpenClaw?
So I use each tool separately for different purposes. I use OpenClaw. OpenClaw is it's kind of like I use it as like an agent. All these are agent uses, which is in layman's term like an online employee
Yeah.
that will go and do work. I don't
Okay.
want to also the way I explain things, I don't like to get into like technical terms. So I
Yeah.
just want to keep
Thank
it
you.
very simple.
Thank
These
you.
are
I appreciate
online employees that can do work for you. And certain employees are good at certain things and others are not that great at other things. So depending on what you're using it for specifically, so I would like to get a sense of your audience, Jay. Your audience mostly are salespeople or people
Yeah.
looking to scale their
Yeah.
company through
Yeah.
sales.
High ticket sales closers, high ticket coaches and consultants, SaaS founders like yourself, and digital marketing agencies.
Okay. So, wow, that's like a big
Pretty broad.
list. So
Yeah.
I would say a lot of times you really don't need a full-blown agent to do certain things. So if you want an agent to uh, do a lot of activities, it depends on your budget. So if you can spend a couple of let's say $40-$50 a day
Mhm.
in terms of cost of like token burn, um, then you can afford an agent to kind of work harder like as an employee. But if you
Mhm.
can't and you're just let's say your budget is $100 a month, I would suggest that you go and use agents within certain software. So don't install OpenClaw and go through a bunch of technical things. If you just want for salespeople, you just want a transcript of let's say a Zoom call
Yeah.
to be analyzed, then all
Yeah.
you need is a very simple Zapier. Zapier have a Zapier agent and it will do it predictably. It'll go through, it'll look at the email, it'll go and research online, and it will create a sales prep little blurb and it'll send that data to your Slack channel. So that's super simple, and it doesn't require any kind of setup, and it won't burn as many tokens as if you have, let's say, Perplexity or Manus do that work. So whenever I think about, when people ask me questions, I'm always asking like a question back in terms of like, what is the true context that you want to achieve here? And a lot of times people don't need like a full-blown setup that requires another team member to babysit all these agents. And now I feel like if you aren't hiring a team member who is AI first, you're most likely within a couple of months or even now, you will be left behind. So just try to, if you are not tech savvy, go on Upwork and type and create a job post that's like AI agent build out for 1 to 2 agents, just like the job post. And you'll get like 60 people apply for that job within 1 to 2 hours, just insane.
Wow.
And you'll find people there that will work for $20, $30 an hour, and they will automate full blown, just end to end things for you for less than $100 of their time because they already have the skills. They already skills as in they've already built the MD files, they already built the skill that they can have the AI agent reference. So that's what I would do, and I would do that relentlessly. I would have you figure out what are you doing manually on a day-to-day basis, whoever you are, just list out the things you're doing manually and start replacing every single manual thing that you're doing and delegating it out to an agent, not one that you're trying to build and tinker yourself, but you can just hire someone to do it. And I think that's the best use of your money and your time versus burning through like all these tokens experimenting on the side of what you're doing now. So that's what I would that's what I would do. Uh I would tell you guys to do that. And that's what I
That
also teach inside of my community. I'm like, "All right, here's the thing. Go and get someone to make it for you, or we can make it for you."
one of my mentors, when I was doing high ticket closing for Akbar Sheikh, he says, do what you do best, outsource the rest. That sounds like you're saying. I didn't even, you know, even the thought of Upwork because of like people who, are trying to sell their services. And, I know it's inexpensive and affordable. I just wasn't sure how good the quality of their work was. And how do you know how to pick the right, if you have 60 applicants, how do you know which one to pick? Maybe that's a good question.
Upwork already has its own individual AI agent in there picking for you, so it will suggest out of everything who are the best matches. So
Really?
Upwork has its own AI agent doing that. But what you can do, I call it outsourcing the outsource. You hire one person on Upwork that will do all the interviews for you. They're probably around $25, $30 an hour. And what you do is you have them mass interview every single day 30 to 50 people inside of one Zoom room, which you can create on Upwork. And so you have like 30 people say yes, and then you'll probably have 10 people show up to Zoom room. And then the one person that you hire is in there and they ask all the interview questions in a group interview. From that, they'll pick a few people to do one-on-one, and then you want to get the person to do the one-on-one interview. You want to hire one person who's like an expert at that individual thing, like whether it's a media buyer, an AI person, and they aren't incentivized to, they have different incentives. They aren't incentivized to get a job from you. They're incentivized to find someone who is qualified to work with you long term. So it's kind of weird, but sometimes I would hire like a expert media buyer who wants to charge me like $200 an hour for whatever, and I would say, hey, I don't want you to charge me 200 an hour for just media buying. I want you to charge that to interview my next media buyer. Uh, and they create a test, and then out of the second group, they choose who, and they tell you the reasoning why. So I think, I mean, that's the same thing as like a recruiter, except it's like a custom person that is recruiting for you versus hiring um, a recruiting agency. So that's the grassroots way of doing it.
That, that is
of
fascinating.
finding
I think
people.
that's I think that's I think that's I think that's brilliant the way you're thinking because just even talking to you the last hour, you're an out of the box thinker and you're a problem solver, and you don't do things, I think the traditional ways that people would do it. And I love the way you're thinking because you're trying to not even just find the right hire, you're getting the right person to interview the right people with a one to many group coaching to find the best person at an affordable or the price that where they can do quality work. I think that's brilliant. So that's incredible. Um, let me transition to kind of part of your story. Your parents came to America with nothing. What parts, and there's probably like lots of stories that are flooding through your mind. What parts of their story and your story shape the way that you approach business today?
Yeah, so I kind of raised my parents because they don't know how to speak English. So when we came to America, they were in their early 40s. My mom was like late 30s. And so um kind of like I was uh I was the oldest child, and my brother's like 2 years younger than me. I came to America when I was 4. So being raised up in an environment where it's like figure it out, cuz we can't help you. We don't know. We know less than you do. Has shaped me into a person that's like, I'll figure it out. Whatever it is, I'll figure it out. And so I've always my environment carved that mindset, and then growing up poor, you kind of have to just figure things out.
Mm.
So I see things as that way, and something that has shaped me as well is rock climbing, and doing outdoor activities that where you're closer to your mortality. If you feel like you're gonna like realistically die on a more frequent basis, you approach life a little bit differently. And I believe results don't take time, they take courage. And so to be courageous is, I think, the biggest hack. And how do you manufacture courage? You don't manufacture it really. You know, let's say that you aren't courageous and you gotta like do all these business related activities. Uh, a better hack would be what thing can you get into that makes you feel that fear? And I believe that there's no realistic fear in the gym, and there's no realistic like maybe a rock climbing gym, but there's no realistic fear when you're like lifting weights. It strains your body a little bit, but what can you do to strain your mind in a way where you're not risking like all your money, all your whatever it is. But it's a real risk of your life. So that has also shaped me in terms of how I see things, because a lot of the people around me, they're like, Kim, you don't go from 0 to 1 to 2. You go from 0 to 100. And then another thing that has shaped me is surrounding myself. I've like invested over uh, almost $400,000 now in masterminds, coaches, and things
Wow.
like that. Um, but before I did that, when I wanted to go rock climbing, I rock climb with people who would like fly into Mexico, climb 6 hours spires, take a 30-minute break, and then climb for another 12 hours. So it's like surround yourself with the extremes of the type of people in the world. So it doesn't have to be business related. So
Mm.
when I got into high ticket world, I invested $36,000. I went to the extreme end right away versus like baby stepping. I remember I bought like a $3,000 course and I didn't even open it. And that's when I realized I'm like, okay, I need to do something like really extreme or else I'm not going to even like pay attention to this and I'm not going to give it the attention and the respect it deserves. So that's why I'm like, oh, money will make me feel kind of pain. So here's $36,000 and it plunged me into being surrounded by people who also invest in the same price point and they think, act, and move differently. And that's the fastest way for me to think differently as well. So kind of like I have a very transactional view of uh, behavioral change. That's what shaped me into that. So those are a few things from my history. Instead of going off to college and like not college, like medical school or dental school, like a lot of my peers from UCLA, I moved to the desert and I started a dismantling company from scratch. And so that was in Hesperia, California. And I hired people off of Craigslist to take apart cars. I listed the cars on eBay, Amazon. I hired people on Upwork. At that time, it's called Odesk, to do the listings for me, to do all the the research for me. And then from there, I automated that whole business. And then I went rock climbing for years, like 5 years, because I got freedom. Because that was my purpose. My purpose was like, I don't want to work for anyone else. I need to figure out a way to be completely free. And along the way, I stumbled into this marketing space. So, a lot of my pictures are just me climbing and adventuring until I stumbled upon this space where it's like, okay, do masterminds. All right, live events. Okay, have your own mastermind. All right. So all these things have been introduced to me. And instead of kind of tiptoeing into it, I'm just full blown do it. So yeah.
Amazing. And your story is incredible. And I don't. Is it Asian background? Is it Vietnamese? Is that right?
Yes, I'm Vietnamese.
Oh, I don't know about you, but having a Korean background and people who are Chinese and different Asian, I don't get a lot of Asian guests, but many of my upbringing and my friends' upbringings are very like immigrant family. You don't have a lot of money, so parents expect a lot. So there's a performance-based upbringing. You're on track for medical school at UCLA. So how did that pivot to not do that? Because I mean, from my parents, they probably like disowned me because of
Yes, it
that.
was a very
And
controlling environment. And what I did was I was like, in order for me to break free of this, I have to reject my parents. So I actually
mm,
stopped talking to them completely for 6 months.
really,
There were times where
wow,
my parents would drive 40 minutes to me and want to talk to me, and they would
yeah,
knock on the door and they would leave food outside of my door. And I would say, go away. Like, if you don't accept me for who I am, I do not want you in my life. And after
wow,
6 months, finally, one day, I heard my mom through the door crack again. And she was like, I'm sorry. We will accept you for what you want to do. And that's
oh,
when I accepted them into my life. I feel like I had
wow,
to completely kill that relationship to create a new one because I couldn't live in that like environment and pretend. So it's hard for me to pretend to smile and to fake it. So like the whole point of creating your own thing for yourself is so you could just do whatever you want and be who you want and be accepted by those around you. And yeah, my parents are like amazing and they like know me as me. And I think that is something that as with Asian parents it's hard to do to change that relationship. And have them accept you fully as you, who you are.
That's a whole
Yeah.
nother series that we can do, a epilogue series on podcasts of Asian parents and the trauma and the beauty of transformation. So we'll have to do a part 2 on that. But some people say that Facebook groups is dead. You beg to differ. GroupConvert was created to help monetize communities. Is there still hope for people who are looking to start a Facebook group and monetizing it, or people who have Facebook groups that are quote unquote dead, inactive, because they're just not doing the work or the algorithm has changed?
Yes, there is. There's over 600 million Facebook group owners out there right now, and so has is it dead? Absolutely not. It's like a gym. The dead gym is the gym that you never use. But now with AI, you can automate posts, you can automate messages, you can automate all of that. And so you can actually revive your dead community in a way where you don't have to hire like a full-time team member. And also, now with paid communities like school, the same fundamentals that goes into monetizing a group, which is really creating a clear path to purchase for your people, to be able for you to convert one to many in an active or passive way. Those fundamentals never went away. In fact, they're only made easier now with the tools that you have access to. So yeah, I've helped clients monetize using a free Facebook group to a paid school community is how I've pivoted for the people who are like, Facebook groups are dead. And then there are many Facebook groups that are alive and very thriving as well. So it's what you want to make of it. If you want to monetize a group, you can. And there are many ways to do it. Yeah.
We have a couple of links that you can sign up at groupconvert.com to try out this lead generation Facebook group monetization. One thing I noticed about you in the short time that I talked to you is that you have an incredible ability to focus. You teach entrepreneurs to avoid shiny object syndrome. How do you personally decide what opportunities deserve your attention?
That's a great question. Um, the truth is you can't really focus. You have to try like a bajillion things until you see something that is a real solution. Once you spot it, then you go all in with it. So I have like 13 plus domain names that I don't even use before GroupConvert started. And I spent like 9 hours because I don't even know how to create a funnel, trying to put together a funnel with ClickFunnels. And before that, I used ClickFunnels for $97 a month with zero funnel for a year before like I even like tried to create something. So it is you have to try like a bunch of things, but once you spot something that someone is saying, "Hey, this works," and then you invest in them, you have to go all in. My first 5-day launches enrolled no one. And a lot of times people think, oh, you spend thousands of dollars and you get zero effort or zero enrollment and then you just give up. That's what happens. But the people that I know that are successful, it's like they launch it. They launch it again and again and again and again and again, and they tweak and they just focus on one thing over and over relentlessly. And that's how you actually succeed. So first try a bunch of things or find someone who knows something and invest in them, and then go all in what they know and repeat what it is that they have. There's this a lady named Marie Morrissey. She was telling me she's like, my dad's a ventriloquist and he did 50 shows, and guess how many shows that he changed? Nothing. It's the same show for 50 years of the same
Wow.
ventriloquist show, and it makes money. And so when you think, oh, people are tired of this, or oh man, I didn't enroll anyone this round, just know that there's people out there that is all in and they'll do like 10,000 rounds, and that's really what it takes. That's the difference between making like 10, 20K a month on the side to like hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. It is that relentlessness. And that's really what I preach to my people. I'm like, oh, you didn't enroll anyone first round? Don't worry, do it again 2 weeks later. Like, you need to be able to be okay with that type of courage and persistence in yourself when there's like very little evidence of success, or not that much evidence of success at the very beginning.
I love your mindset. I love your focus and the ability to try, like you said, a cajillion things until something works. What are some of the biggest mistakes people make when they try to monetize communities online because they're not successful?
They don't pitch frequently. So the biggest mistake is they change their offer over and over and over again. For me, there's a very specific way that I teach them to put together their offer and how to pitch one to many and create this clear path to purchase. It's called my gold method. And like, you go and you pitch over and over and over again. You don't stop. You don't stop. And you need to do that for a year at least. And that sounds kind of harsh to a lot of people who just get into it and that they have like everything else in their life. But that's the truth, though. That's the truth. The people who make more money make more offers. And I think uh, Myron Golden said that, which is the truth. So the more offers you make, but don't change your offer every other week, every other month, because you don't know if it's going to be really successful until you pitch it at least 5-10 times.
We have a lightning round to close our time, and then I'll have to invite you in because we spent most of our time in the studio room just catching up. And the lightning round is, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when I ask you these questions? And then we'll wrap up. So what is one business decision that changed everything in your business?
I met this guy named Kevin David. I know he's not like good reputation, but it's at a live event, and he said to me over dinner, he was like, Kim, do you know there's 9 people in my DMs? And I'm like, what? That broke my brain. I'm like, is that how you're able to monetize? And he's like, yep. So a big reason was not fearing for my security of my accounts and things like that. So I made myself a voice, but deployed a bunch of people who are inside all of my DMs. Now I've like reduced it dramatically, but that's a thing that initially opened my eyes to. I don't have to do everything. I don't have to know everything. I just have to create some kind of blueprint and have other people help me expand the voice. So
Amazing.
that was a big thing.
What is a book or mentor that influenced your thinking to help you generate more sales?
Lots of different mentors, but the typical ones like Cole Gordon's training was good. Alex Moscow's training was good. Ravi Abuvala's training is good. And all of them were masterminds that I invested in at least $20,000, $30,000, up to $80,000. So really good training. Rob Quinn's sales training is good. Yeah, just a few names.
How about books?
Books. Russell Brunson's .com Secrets. It's what changed everything for me. I was just rock climbing for fun. It's like 6 days a week, doing nothing else but rock climbing. And then I saw his book on my shelf that I ordered, I don't know when, like 6 months ago, and it was dusty. And the first thing my friend Nate McAllister, he was like, Kim, do you have the .com Secrets book? And I'm like, yeah, somewhere in my room. He's like, I hired him for my Chrome extension coach because he has one Chrome extension. And he's like, read it. And so when I read it, what it allowed me to do is understand that people's emotion can be shifted in the matter of just one conversation. So I took my ex at that time, I took him through a conversation using the .com Secrets method. And he went from like intense fear and anxiety over like a climb or something into happiness to the point where he was crying. So that's when I realized, wow, one conversation can drastically change a person's state of being. And this is when I didn't even know who Tony Robbins was, not like no one, I was just a desert rat. And so, .com secrets.
I love the way you describe things. You were just a desert rat. Okay.
I was.
Doing the taking apart car parts and selling them on Kijiji and eBay. So what legacy, last question, do you hope to leave for the next generation of entrepreneurs?
People need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. So if my boring messages or the same messages you've heard me say over and over again is what is left, then that's really I guess what I care to share. It's it's courage that will allow you to get results, and it's not like so much little tactics here and there, but the courage to go through all the tactics and be positive even when things are not looking that great. So if people who hear me can take that message from what I say, then I'm happy with that.
Beautiful. And last question for every guest I have is, what does sell more to give more mean to you?
Sell more to give more. I believe giving is more than just tithing. It is, employing people. It's increasing your responsibility to the transaction of energy, which is money, as well as money, through you as an entity, as an individual being on this earth, powered by whatever you want to call it, energy, God, whatever it is that fuels you, you're powered by that source. And it's your responsibility to be a good steward of that energy and to be able to convert that energy into energy for other people to shift through whatever it is that they're experiencing in their life, whether that's creating a business that allows them freedom or whether that's creating a side thing that allows peace of mind. I believe that giving back is more than just one singular vehicle. It's like the whole of the energy that you emit to everyone around you. So you're the conductor of this energy. So conduct it well.
Wow, you're a deep well. I love it. So you guys have heard it. Thank you guys for tuning into the Sales Ninja Show podcast. Now go apply what you learned to your next sales conversation and practice leading with clarity, calm, and service. You guys have heard from Kim Dang yourself. Courage gets you the results, and you can become the conductor of energy for freedom, for peace of mind, for stewarding, what either the world or the God or universe, whatever you believe, to give back to other people to make that difference. If you're ready to master faith-driven sales psychology and close high-ticket deals with integrity, head over to gosalesninja.com and join the free training. We are here to help you sell with confidence and serve from a place of purpose. Remember, your work is stewardship, as Kim shared. Keep your eyes on God. Stay faithful in the small things, and we will see you guys in the next episode so that you can sell more to give more. Kim, thank you so much for your time today. You were amazing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Massive.